and welcome back to another short of the Mostly Legal podcast. We're joined here with two of our ALA royalty and guests from season 1, April Campbell and Judy Hissong. Thanks, guys, for squeezing us in very quickly into. Why don't they have tiaras?
Oh yeah, where's my sash?
What are you hearing from members? What's changing within their firms as we continue to go through the pandemic, and it's not really ending; it's continuing. What are you guys hearing?
I think it's what's not changing.
What's not changing?
There's so many things that are changing.
Yeah.
It still is very geographical.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like different firms are in different places in their evolution, depending on what's going on in their market and their locale.
Yeah.
But I think everyone's rethinking how they're doing things, and trying to, if there's one word I've heard through a lot of sessions and on these storyboards we have, it's empathy, and inclusion. I think those are really big themes.
Just overall, like culture.
Yeah, just culture.
How are you looking at your culture?
And not using culture as an excuse.
Yes.
Right.
Which is what law firms have been really good at.
I think the one thing I've found the most surprising is the focus on mental health.
Yeah.
Right? It has been talked about more in the last 18 months than in the last 18 years before. And I'm so happy that not only in the legal industry, but outside, but specifically our industry, that we are really starting to do that. I mean, you guys had the mental health first aid certification. I had somebody in my firm go through that. He really liked it. I got sold out, and I thought, well, maybe I'll call in a favor, but I'm going to wait, and I'm going to do it when it comes back out in February for sure. And I definitely recommend it for everybody to do that.
Look, it's not that there wasn't a mental health issue before.
Oh, right, no, but
right?
I like the focus.
And so to me, what's happened is all of the things that were bubbling are now available to be approached.
Right.
So if there's anything I would say, I think folks are really trying to figure out what's the door that goes in that opens all of that up to be changed.
Right.
Is there, because there's so many of these things, can we find one entry point that would then help everybody adopt change for all these others? So let's face it, it's not an industry that does that real well.
Yeah, so I'm somebody that deals with anxiety sometimes, and it just helps to be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
And now that people are talking about it more, it makes people feel more comfortable. You feel it's being normalized, which makes you feel like you're not as off, right? And I think that helps out a lot.
Rob and I share that in common, and you should see us trying to plan something sometimes. Luckily, so far, we've both been able to keep each other's, it's his turn to freak out or my turn to have anxiety, and we're able to balance each other.
I think it was cloaked before.
I'm gonna be
and
okay. You're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Not being normal,
Yes.
and now it's normalized. Like, it's so
Yeah.
normal. If you haven't exhibited or experienced anxiety in the last 2 years, are you
human?
are you paying attention? Are you,
Right. That's right.
But that it's totally been whatever normal is.
Yeah.
It's been
Well, it's certainly been surfaced in a way where it's being discussed as not an other.
Right.
right. Yeah.
It's just not an other anymore, and we've spent a lot of time making others,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden we realized, oh wait, we're all the same.
Yeah. And honestly, I've never experienced depression or anxiety until about the last 6 months. And I'm like, holy cow, now I get it. Not that I wasn't empathetic towards it before, but it was like, I'm a really upbeat, positive person. And I'm like, holy cow, it's for everyone.
Speaking of empathy, right?
It really is. It really, and it just comes, sometimes it just comes from when you don't see it coming. And it's I don't know, I'm almost glad because now I'm even more
Empathetic to it. And I think the pandemic, some people don't even realize they're going through it.
Yeah.
It's just, you're kind of doing a look back, and as people are beginning to get back out and, back out in the real world, they're like, wow, I didn't realize what I was going through.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, so Judy, you said you were talking about confidence. And I think one of the things about these conferences, you get a lot of new attendees. Somebody that's coming in for the first time, they're walking these halls, they're going to the events. Do you have any advice for somebody trying to find their place in an event or something like this?
Well, I would layer on an introvert that's a newcomer, and I would say find one person.
Yeah, that's good.
and it doesn't have to be one person for the conference. It can be one person in the session, one person in the exhibit hall, one person, because that one person becomes a multitude of people, right? And now you have a network. I will say, just as a general comment, you talked about behaviors changing. It seems to me that there's more attention toward helping first-timers know their way, be around. Some of that massaging the anxiety that folks might have, it feels more palpable to me with them. But it really, because I am an introvert, I think about it as being one person as opposed to the extroverts who are quite comfortable, like Amanda. I've seen you move through crowds that you don't even know anybody in, and you do it
I will
really
make a friend
seamlessly.
anywhere.
Hey, this is the only time I'll give Amanda credit. But last night at one of the events, she walked right over to somebody that was on their own, introduced them to another person within the local chapter, and I think it totally changed the trajectory of her night.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
for sure.
made a big difference.
Absolutely.
So, April, I have to ask,
Yeah.
since the recording of the podcast, how has your shoe collection changed?
What a great question.
Well, I did acquire a new pair that might make a debut tomorrow night.
Stay tuned.
And I did have to dust, I literally had to dust some shoes off to bring them here. And I am very proud to say I brought 2 suitcases and one was completely full of shoes.
Okay,
Wait, we talked about this earlier.
we talked about this.
Go ahead.
But I
Pairs-
refuse to check them.
How many pairs?
I have done,
pairs?
it's so many I can't, I didn't count. I just kept throwing them in until the suitcase was full.
We had 3 people with 9 pairs this morning.
Oh, it's more than that.
Oh my gosh. This was Jenna and me and Chastity, and each of us had 9 pairs.
I brought
Underachievers is what you're saying?
I brought 2 to 3 pairs per day because you need like a flat, a mid, and a high.
Do you actually use all of them, or are they just options?
No, they're just because you never know how your feet are gonna feel.
Fair
so
enough.
you have to be able
Oh,
to.
that's so empathetic.
I know.
Tell us how you feeling today.
Hey, Toesy Woesies.
Hey,
my
I
favorite
actually liked
April.
your shoes.
Thank
like
you.
yours.
These are, I brought 2 pair of shoes.
Yeah.
These are my
I have
casual
3.
shoes.
I have 3.
My fancy shoes will premiere tomorrow.
Awesome.
I
Can't
brought
wait.
3 pairs of sneakers.
Did you really?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't know how the toes are gonna
You
feel.
don't. You don't.
My favorite April Campbell comment from today was they were about to take a picture in front with a bunch of people today, and she's rushing over there changing into heels that she didn't previously have on. I was like, "What are you going to do?" And she's like, "Well, I don't want to be the shortest person in the picture, so I'm putting heels on." And Judy and I are sitting there, and we're like, "She's still the
Still
shortest
short.
person."
I was not in that one. Okay. Well.
With the-
Anyway,
yeah.
it's
Well,
less
that's-
obvious.
Well, I was looking at your shoes because it was like a heel.
They are a heel.
Oh,
heel.
yeah.
They were a heel, and I'm like, does she walk from the hotel in those shoes?
No, that's why you
Mad
got to bring so many
props.
shoes.
Yeah.
Do you wear a heel like that up on stage?
Yes.
Dang. Good for you.
Yeah.
One day you'll all just laugh at me so hard. You'll be like, "What did you expect wearing those?" Of course you fell on your face. So yeah, I'm due for one of those.
All right, that's all I have.
Okay, now thank you guys both so much and for coming in and jumping in on this.
Yeah.
And for your support of the podcast too.
Yeah, thank you
both
guys.
Have, but ALA has really gotten behind us, and we're really, really thankful for that.
Yeah.
It's been
Well,
great.
I will say, if there's anybody out there thinking about whether or not this was easy or hard, or what to do with this, or being afraid of it, it's really sitting down and having a conversation. And you know who you are, and you're simply talking about you in the world. And so you all have made that a very easy experience. And so if you're someone out there thinking about it, put your name in. It's a great place. It's another place that ALA offers a playground for you to practice and play.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Good plug.
Thank you.